Okay. Okay, ladies, welcome to our Wednesday webinar, Leveraging the Power of Your Story. This is something that a workshop that we got to do when we were at Summit in Nashville. And it was an incredible presentation that we got to be a part of. So we kind of wanted to share it with all of you. So please stop me at any point if you have any questions during the presentation. So let's get started. Hold on. Okay. So basically, our stories are everything, I think, in our normal lives and in our Beachbody lives. And so they really talked about how it starts with your story. And we've kind of dabbled in this a little bit before, but everybody has a story and everybody's story is different. But your story is what's going to help get your message across and help people relate to you. So let's start with why. Why do we tell our stories? Why do we sort of open ourselves up and, make ourselves so vulnerable to a lot of people that we don't even know? And there's lots of different reasons, but I threw out some of the big ones because really you want to be relatable, real, you want to show your vulnerabilities, and doing that helps build connections with people, because I guarantee you there are tons and tons of people in the world and tons of people that you're friends with who have or share part of the same story that you do. And so that also builds confidence for them in you, and it connects you to people that you wouldn't normally be connected to, and it sort of bridges that gap so that you can find common ground with people and really start building real relationships with people. Because let's be honest, you have to have real relationships with people before you can even try to sell them a product. So it's really important to share these stories. So this was another good part that we learned. So make sure you guys write this down. One of the speakers, Carly Del Carlo, talked about this, and I think she's one of the top 10 coaches. You guys can look her up online, but she said that there's 3 main story starters that everybody can sort of find something in that will help you start your story and weave it in with your Beachbody journey. So like financial. Do you have debt? Me, I do. So many people do. So many relate to that. Do you have student loans? Are you trying to pay off car payments, mortgages? So many people relate to these financial situations and these financial stories. And then there's obviously the physical aspect of it. Do you have a weight loss journey? Are you fitting into new clothes? Have you finally found your abs that you could never see before? Do you see weight loss on the scale? Inches. Not everybody has a physical journey. There's, take Brandy Botts, for instance. She didn't have a huge physical journey, but she had a very, very strong emotional journey. She suffered from a ton of health issues, self-confidence, anxiety, and so she really weaved that story and how Beachbody and Shakeology helped her get past these emotional things that were holding her back. And then it linked her with all these people on her social media sites who were suffering from the same thing and finally felt like, oh my gosh, there's somebody I can relate to. And then they became friends, and now they're her customers or her coaches. So if you can find anything in those 3 story starters to sort of weave into your story, that's a great place to start. And another thing they talked a lot about, and I'm sure you guys have maybe heard this before, is about how your adversity, whatever that may be, can be your advantage in this business. Trials can become your triumphs. You can turn your struggles into your story and your mess into your message. They're all sort of saying the same thing, but it's really just how can you turn what's going on in your life into your story. So for me, you guys have heard me talk a lot about our infertility struggles, and it's sort of a subject that I don't talk a ton about, and I slowly weave in, things here and there about our dogs and how they're my fur babies. And it's just, that's my truth. That is my struggle in life. And so I'm just sort of trying to tell my story through that, because there are hundreds of thousands of women and couples out there who struggle with infertility. So if I can connect with one person or make one person feel like they're not alone, then I've done a really great thing, outside of just trying to sell with Beachbody. It makes you come across as a genuine, real person, which obviously we all want to be. Okay, so along those lines, what I was just saying, they talked about a really, really interesting thing that's called breadcrumbing, and I love this. So it's basically just sharing small pieces of your story to keep people interested, engaged, and wanting to know more. So like I said, how I had talked about our dogs, and it's not exactly the life I had imagined for ourselves, but I'm really thankful for it and happy for it. And that's just me breadcrumbing a little bit. That's what I'm comfortable with sharing right now. And so that's what I'm going to talk about, just small little pieces of our journey. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay, so we did the why. So now let's talk about how. And there is an art to storytelling. There is an art to making this sound nice and relatable to people. So they talked about the when, how, and what. So the when, I don't know if you guys are writing this down, but I'm going to talk a little bit slower so you can write this down. When did your story start? So think back. So for me, our story started in 2008. And it's been going on since then. So for me, that's when my story sort of started. I also have another story, which is I used to suffer from migraine headaches, and knock on wood, I'm 20 months free since I started drinking Shakeology. And that's another part of my story. And that started a long time ago. I've been suffering from headaches since I was 12. So just think about, when did your story start? And then the how and the what. So let's talk about the what. Think about this before you post anything related to your story. Can this inspire? Will this inspire? Can this make a difference? And am I being real about what I'm sharing? Because let's not sugarcoat it. Your story is your story and you should own it, but don't ever make anything up. Don't fib. Just be you and think, how can this help somebody? Okay, and then the what is basically just sharing your story. Get comfortable with one aspect. So like I said, for me, it was the talking about the dogs. So like, I'm not out there talking about the infertility treatments that we've been through and all the tests and the poking and prodding, because I'm not completely comfortable with that aspect yet. So I tend to stick to the other one. And then when I get more comfortable talking about the other stuff, then I'll share that. And it's really just about developing these little short stories that sort of breadcrumb who you are and why you're doing this. So hopefully that makes sense for you guys. Okay, now the how. Nobody's perfect. You guys know that. I'm not perfect. You're not perfect. And it's not our job to portray perfection to anybody, because then we come across as these little aliens, these little robotic figures, and nobody can relate to that. So just be you. And I just want to say along those lines, sometimes people are afraid to share their successes because they think, oh, well, then I'm being too perfect. I think that's two completely different things. It's totally great to share your success, but share how you got there. Okay, so I'm a 2-star Diamond Beachbody coach. Woohoo, that's great. And that's awesome. But how did I get there? Who helped me get there? What did I have to do? How hard did I have to work to get there? So, share both aspects of that. And I love this next one, is to share your story often, but not the same story too often. So it's really about breadcrumbing. Like, I'm not going to go and post another post about, a picture of my dogs in the backyard and that I didn't, that's not what I envisioned, because I already posted that. But I can post other things about my dogs and how they're my kids. So hopefully that sort of makes sense for you guys, and less is sometimes more. And another thing I learned a couple days ago from another webinar I just took from another top coach is it's really important to weave your story together with Beachbody. So how does this story and how did becoming a Beachbody coach help you sort of not necessarily overcome your struggles, but help you get through your struggles? So for me, finally becoming a coach and having the team and having all of you guys has finally made me feel like I belong. Not to get too sappy on you guys, but that is a part of my journey and my story. I felt like I didn't belong for such a long time. And then finally becoming a coach and joining this, I feel like I belong. So that's my little way of weaving, my infertility struggles together with how Beachbody has changed my life. And I'm sure there's lots of examples that you guys can come up with. Okay, really important. Be unapologetically you. You are amazing. Whoever you are, we are all different, and that's what makes us amazing and great. And I just think that this is a really important thing to remember. People are going to gravitate to you because they relate to you, not because you are selling a product. Yes, obviously we sell products. That's what we do. We sell amazing products. But you have to realize that people are coming to you and reaching out to you because they felt a connection with you and they related to you. So being real and being you is a really great thing. And I've said it before, we were talking about it at Super Saturday this past weekend. Marjorie and Stephanie and I were talking, and we all have a lot of the same friends in common. Marjorie and I went to high school together. We went to college together, but you have to realize that yes, we may have a ton of friends in common, but for whatever reason, certain people are going to reach out to Marjorie and certain people are going to reach out to me. And that is not a dig or a bad thing to the other person. It's just because that person related to me or related to Marjorie. And that's okay. And that's a good thing. And we have to realize that. So being you is a really good thing. So be you. Okay. Make sure you guys write this down. This is really important. I just learned this at Super Saturday, and I actually had not been incorporating this into my business, and I'm now making it a part of my everyday thing. So they talked a lot at Summit about, you have this story and you're sharing it, and you really should be sharing this story with 2 to 5 new people per day. And that doesn't mean private messaging them and telling them about your story, but this story that you're sharing should be reaching 2 to 5 new people per day. So how can you do that? And you can do that with your daily power of 3. And I think this is a phenomenal thing for all of us to be doing. So it's really just making 3 new friends a day on social media. So send out 3 new friend requests. Really easy. Send 3 hey girls. Message somebody that you saw on Facebook or somebody that you've been thinking of. Completely yeah.
Explain what a hey girl is.
Yes, I'm going into that. Thank you.
I'm sorry.
No, you're good. So a hey girl is a message to mostly girls. If you want to message a guy, you can. But hey girl is just a hey girl. It is completely unrelated to Beachbody. And it's just reaching out to someone to say, hey, I just saw the picture of your newborn baby. You look so happy. I'm just really happy for you. Really simple. Hey, I saw you cut your hair. You look amazing. Oh my gosh, we haven't talked in so long. I just wanted to say hi and tell you that I was thinking of you. This just gets conversations started with people, and it gets friendships started on just a basic friendship level, having nothing to do with Beachbody. You have to think of this as I'm building friendships. You have to build genuine friendships with people before you can sell them a product. And so really this is just, hey girl, I was thinking about you, catching up. So if you're doing 3 of these a day, and then along with your 3 new friends on social media, and then add in 3 invites, or what I like to do is 3 follow-ups. So following up with 3 people that you have been talking to, or that maybe somebody you had talked to months ago and you kind of forgot about them, or you didn't want to bug them, message them again and just follow up with them. And it's really easy. All you have to say is, I just wanted you to know that I was thinking about you. And do you honestly know how many people write me back and say, thank you so much for your note. That meant so much to me. And whether they respond saying, yes, I'm ready to join your challenge group or not, it doesn't matter. It just lets this person know that you are genuine and real and that you actually care about them. And so putting these three powers of three, these three different ones together is going to help keep your funnel full. So think of it like you're adding all these things to your funnel. And then slowly, one by one, they're going to trickle out the bottom at like an even pace. So if you're doing these 3 new friends, 3 Hey Girls, and 3 invites every single day, that funnel should be full, and then it's going to make things flow easier for you. So you're going to be having people respond to you and reach out to you on a daily, weekly basis. So when that time comes when you're like, okay, I set a goal for myself to reach Success Club and I'm not there yet, your funnel is full and people are continually messaging you and reaching out to you. So it makes it easier for you to reach your goals and hit those milestones in your business that you wanted, instead of like having to rush and send out all these messages all at once. It's just such an easier process to do. And I swear to you guys, it takes 5 minutes. I've been doing it all week and it's been really awesome. Did I explain that okay, Gina? I don't hear you. Okay, I'm going to go to the next slide.
Sorry, I had to unmute myself and I couldn't get the thing to pull up.
Did I explain that okay?
Yes.
Okay,
yes,
good.
Exactly.
Okay, perfect. Okay, I'm going to go to the next one. Okay, so this is another important aspect of it, you guys. Be the hero of your own story. Don't be a victim. So I don't know if you guys saw, I'm going to go back to that same post again because I'm just going to tie it all together when I talked about how, this wasn't the life I had envisioned for myself, but sometimes it's okay to get something different than what you thought you should get in your life. And so I tried to turn that around. Yes, it's my story, and yes, sometimes it can be sad, but I didn't want people to look at it and be sad. I wanted them to look at it and be like, wow, she's gone through a lot, but she's really come out of the other end. She's not a victim, and she's got a great attitude about it. Now, don't get me wrong, not everything in life is perfect. It's not going to be that way for you or for me, but there's just certain things that you just hold back from posting on social media because, let's be honest, people don't want to see a negative Nancy. Yes, they want you to be real and they want to relate to you, but they don't want somebody who is, I don't want to say a downer, but who's negative and down all the time. They want to see you turn your struggle into a solution. So just try and think of that when you're sharing whatever your story is. Like Marjorie, I know, has a really great story with her diabetes. I mean, everybody has just really, really great stories to share, and somebody out there is going to relate to them. So I think I've got one more. Oh, that was it. I'm done. That was quick. Hold on, I'm going to get my video back for you guys. I'm going to stop the recording.